Hi guys and good morning. I hope you're doing well. It is, what day is it? I think it's Wednesday. Is anyone else finding it like they're just completely losing what day of the week it is? Because I think it's something that everyone that I speak to seems to be just not ever knowing what day it is really. But yeah, it is currently Wednesday and it is just gone 10:30 in the morning. I just wanted to initially say a massive thank you to everyone who's come over from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook to my Patreon. It went live yesterday. That's kind of a lie. I mean, it's been live for a little while, but I sort of I finally took the plunge and put my first tiered video up there, which was a real-time in-depth walkthrough video of how I created the noseband on this portrait and sort of some of the leather and the leather work, and sort of I really went through the pencils that I use, why I use them, and just the way that I work with them, and sort of some tips and tricks and things that have helped me with pencils, and just really just a walkthrough video really. So that is a video that's in 2 parts. Both parts are now live over on Patreon. I think the total amount of video footage is about just under 3 hours, so it's a really in-depth video of walking you through exactly how I created the leather for Hoolie's bridle. And yeah, that is over on my Patreon, which I will link below if anyone is interested in learning a bit more about why I do what I do and how I do it, etc, rather than just me sort of just rambling at you. But yeah, I just wanted to say, if you are or have joined me over on Patreon, I am so grateful, and I can't wait to share more content with you. It feels really nice being able to get to know everyone a bit better. I've set up a private Facebook page so I can share more work with and sort of behind the scenes stuff, and hopefully it will just become almost an extra little community really, which is I'm really excited about. So yeah, that's what I initially wanted to come on here and say this morning, because it's quite nerve-wracking, to be honest. It's a brand new platform and I've never done anything like it before, so I was a little bit apprehensive about how it's going to work, and whether there would be anyone who was interested and things like that. But yeah, you've shown it so much love already, so I am really grateful. But yeah, I hope you're all doing really well. I still haven't got any updates on being able to do any live streaming, which I'm really gutted about. It's quite funny because some of my sort of fellow artist friends in the community are doing daily live streams over on Facebook, and I am so jealous, because I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to sort of come on either YouTube or Facebook or Patreon and do this live, so I sort of chat to you guys as I draw, rather than a backwards and forwards chat, rather than just me talking at you. But yeah, obviously, as you know, can't really do that at the moment, but hopefully when things start to improve in the UK with import and things like that, then hopefully I will be able to get hold of a webcam. So just I'm trying to think what other things have happened. So I had a bit of a nightmare with my not really a nightmare with my Patreon, but I so just for a bit of background info, I do most of my, in fact no, I do all of my editing on my MacBook Pro, which is, I think it's the 2017 version, and sorry, I'm just looking for a pencil, which is I think it's the 2017 version, and I think it's 256 gigs, which at the time when I bought it I was that'd be fine, that's loads. Turns out it's really not when you're trying to edit footage. So I've just ordered a solid state hard drive, which will allow me to save more content and sort of more video format, so that I'll be able to do a whole commission and sort of make a time lapse of it, rather than sort of having to not being able to save anything. But I say, I mean, hopefully it'll work like that, but that sort of leads me to my other problem, which is where I have to physically import all of the footage into my Mac in order to edit it, and obviously my Mac can't handle all of that, because sometimes it can be like thousands of, well, probably like 40 to 50 to 60 hours worth of footage sometimes, and that's a huge amount. And so I'm now, I mean, if Patreon becomes like a thing, well, obviously it already is a thing, but you know what I mean, if it becomes like a viable sort of little extra platform, then I will make that a goal to invest and get a new PC, that, you know, a 2TB iMac or something that I can do all my editing off, which will be able to store and, you know, be a much better editing platform than a 256 gig little laptop, which, I mean, it does the job and it's great, but yeah, it's not really the best for what I need it for now, which is a shame because it's only about a year old. So I might sell it and get a big iMac, or, you know, just keep them both for now if I can find a use for both of them. So yeah, that is like where I'm currently at. That's like my struggle of the last couple of days, is that I haven't had the ability to produce everything that I want to produce. So yeah, I am currently, I think, about 2 to 2.5, possibly 3 days away from finishing Hooli, and I will be genuinely very upset to finish his portrait, and I think, to be honest, I am savouring every little bit of it, because he's just become a such a lovely face to look at every day. So yeah, I mean, I don't really ever get attached to portraits. I don't know, sometimes I do, but because I guess it's because it's not really my animal, and half the time, like, I don't really meet the animals that I draw. But obviously I had met Hooli and I know the owners quite well, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, his photo was so beautiful as well. So it's and I think the other thing as well is it's not the biggest portrait I do, but where it is quite a big portrait. So this portrait is 16 by 20 inches, so it's not the smallest, but obviously it's not the biggest, but it's one of these portraits where I just completely get sucked in. And where is that pencil? I think I swear I spent my life looking for pencils. I'm currently after, it's like a yellowy, I generally can't find it, and I don't think it's not even in my hand. Oh, it's over in my other little pencil slot. Yeah, I don't really ever get attached, but I'm going to really, really miss this one when he's not on the drawing board anymore. Right, I'm getting into a bit of not a bad habit, but I'm sort of like, I hold all my pencils in one hand now. I never used to do it. It's because I don't like keeping them on the portrait when I'm working like this. Right, hopefully you are, so I'm focused. One of my biggest problems is like my focus point. I think I'm getting better at it, but it's still not the best. I think I need to really sit down and work out the settings on this camera, because at the moment I have it, I don't even know, I think I have it in portrait mode, and then I just touch the autofocus focus point of where I want it to focus before I put my hand in, but sometimes it doesn't really work, and the trouble is I don't ever know until it's too late and I'm editing. So yeah, and then I can kind of get angry and then ditch the bit of footage. So I'm like, oh, the whole thing was out of focus, or it keeps sort of jumping in and out of focus. So that's not obviously what I want. So this portrait, I am currently just using mainly the polys. I'm using Faber-Castell Polychromos and some luminance, and yeah, I mean, I go into a lot of detail, as I said, over on my Patreon about the way that I work, and I think it would kind of be unfair to my Patreons for me to really go into detail on my YouTube channel about the way I work, because obviously that's the content that they pay to see. So yeah, I'm not gonna sort of be jumping in with, I mean, I might do the odd tutorial sort of here and there, but I'm gonna try and keep it exclusively for my patrons, and just keep my sort of real-time chatty videos for YouTube, and I think that will sort of hopefully keep the balance between keeping everyone happy and keeping my own sanity as well. Oh, I keep picking out the wrong pencil, don't I? Right, I need this one. This is the one I need. This is Burnt Ochre from the Polychromos range. So yeah, I don't think anything else has really happened. I have been listening to a lot of podcasts while I've been working. Also, like I said in my last real-time draw with me, I downloaded Disney Plus, and I downloaded it on a free trial, and I have zero regret, but I don't think I'd pay for it. I'm not a Disney kind of girl, is what I figured out. I kind of got a bit bored after the first day. So yeah, I mean, I would recommend it for anyone who wants like a bit of nostalgia from their childhood. If you sort of grew up watching like Beauty and the Beast and 101 Dalmatians and stuff, and like Toy Story, then yeah, it's really, really great. But I think once you kind of watched all those films, then you kind of left a bit like, oh, I don't know what to do now, because the rest of it's quite like, I guess if you got like young children, then it'd be a bit different, but it's just me, so I don't have any young people in my life who would benefit from Disney Plus. So I'm trying to think like what else is new, but I don't think, oh, I'm just like moving over my iPad. Yeah, I don't think anything massive has really happened. Everyone, obviously it's only, I think it's only been like a couple of days since I last did a real-time draw with me, so obviously nothing's changed with the government, and the UK is still pretty much in lockdown. But, oh my word, that's not ideal. I'm dropping everything. Yeah, so nothing's really changed. The weather is amazing, and I'm going to be totally British and talk about the weather right now, but it's really, really nice. It's obviously it's like mid-April, and well, coming towards the end of April now. It's the 22nd today, and it's so sunny. Like, I went for a run the other day and got a little bit tanned, which I'm kind of happy about, because yeah, it's only April, so it's kind of making up for the fact that I can't do any other exercise apart from like run and do some sort of home workouts at the gym, sort of ascending over on the app. So but it's really nice because obviously I can do them in the garden, and get a bit of a, not a suntan, but a little bit of suntan, I guess. I desperately need actually some new Netflix recommendations. I have been watching, obviously I watched Tiger King, and that was the weirdest program I've ever seen, but also like one of the best things I've ever watched. So weird, and I know loads of people have sort of said, sort of commented and sort of messaged me saying, oh my god, you know, your recommendation of Tiger King, what the actual, because it's just mad. It's mad. You never really expect anything like that to be a thing. I didn't even know it was like those sort of places existed, and especially not a person like that anyway. So exotic. What a character though. If you watch it, if you have watched it, then you know, what do you think? Because madness. But yeah, I think the other thing that I watched half of, and I haven't finished watching it yet, is Contagion. A lot of people recommended that, and obviously that, I think that's trending on Netflix at the moment, because even though I think it was a film from 2011, but I think a lot of people are watching it now because it's so relatable to where we are in the world with like everything that's going on right now, because they talk about like social distancing, they talk about basically like what happens with a pandemic. And the weird thing about it is, in the film, it broke out in China also. And this was filmed like almost 10 years ago, which is a bit scary. It's like, you know, they foresaw everything. So yeah, that is a film that I would definitely recommend watching. Yeah, it's called Contagion, and it is available on Netflix. But apart from that, I don't really think I've been doing an awful lot. I felt a bit guilty, not guilt. Yeah, I'm gonna go with guilty, because we've spoken about guilt before. But like, I didn't really get much drawing time in yesterday because I was sorting out like Patreon and the tiers and sort of uploading videos and editing and things like that. And the day before, I only spent a little bit of time drawing as well. Like, I got the nose band in and that was it. So I had like this massive amount of guilt. So I kind of woke up today and I was like, right, I need to actually get some drawing done. I think like a lot of people have been asking, you know, how to create it's almost like, I guess it's like a richness in the colours, but it's like just a layering process, really. I don't know, I'm still a little bit like baffled as to half the time how I know how I work, because I think it's, you know, it's like with anything, it's art, so it's like a bit trial and error. You know, you kind of go with the best intentions. It's like something I said to my patrons the other day, like, it's hard to make mistakes as a pencil artist as long as you're going in quite lightly. Obviously if you go in with a super hard pressure, then it'd be a different story, but all the time you're sort of going in quite lightly and sort of building up the colours very, very gradually, then yeah. I'm gonna sit down and film a video, I think hopefully tomorrow, talking about growth on Instagram. It's like squeakiness. I'm talking about growth on Instagram because it's something that a lot of people have requested. I'm gonna do like a really in-depth one on Patreon for my business Patreon people, and I will do like my top, sort of like a brief what's the word, like no, it's not like a shortcut, like a shorter version, I guess, like a less in-depth one, or for my YouTube channel as well. But yeah, the in-depth one will be Vere on Patreon. I wonder how many times I'm going to end up saying Patreon. But yeah, that's for anyone who sort of like would really like to pick up some info on how to sort of not grow, well yeah, grow on social media, I guess. I think that's the only thing you have to say about it. I'm gonna have to mute this camera angle in a minute because I feel like I can get into the bottom of where I can see in the viewfinder. Also, I need to just head over and sharpen the pencil. That, I mean, I haven't really been using the Derwent Lightfast, but I have got one of their, I've got a pencil here from Derwent and it's the Burnt Sienna, and I've kind of been enjoying it, like using it on this portrait a little bit. It's really soft, really, really soft. Anyway, I think I need to sharpen it. Right, focused and with a sharp pencil. So yeah, I'm trying to think if anything else to really update you on. I've been listening to, if you're in the UK and you sort of like you enjoy sort of current affairs, but sort of like with a lighter touch, and you enjoy like reading and stuff, then a podcast that I absolutely adore is The High Low. And I've been listening because they took a break because one of the sort of hosts of the podcast had a baby back in, I think it was like December, so they had like a bit of a break, but now they're back, and it's I just love it so much. So I've been listening to that quite a lot, sort of catching up, and also some true crime podcasts, because who doesn't love a bit of true crime. And my favourite one is Red Handed by these two girls. I think they're sort of based in London, but they're just hilarious, and yeah, I absolutely love the content that they produce. So yeah, they are sort of like my two favourite podcasts I've been binging on whilst in lockdown, sort of on my walks and when I've been working, when I'm not sort of filming. So if you are sort of after any podcast recommendations or anything else to sort of listen to whilst you are working, you're interested in, as I said, like current affairs, but it's not like super boring at all, then I would recommend listening to The High Low. Or if you're into like true UK true, but it's not even just UK true crime, but they're obviously like British girls who cover true crime from all over the place, like really, really well done, then Red Handed is a two podcast that I would definitely recommend. I find it quite difficult to work out exactly where to go with sort of a piece like this half the time, because it's, especially when it's like on the neck, there's sort of quite a lot of subtle like crevices almost, so you've got to be sort of build it up quite slowly really, which obviously takes a bit of time. So because obviously you don't want to go in too intense, like with anything, you kind of got to build it up quite slowly. I think I might move you down a touch so you can kind of get a bit more of what's going on, well, what will be soon going on down here. So if you are watching this and you're doing your own artwork or being creative, then let me know what you're working on, because I'd be really, really super interested to see what everyone's up to still, if you are being creative. So like trying to concentrate and also talk, it's like a battle that I have on every single time I film some sort of real-time draw with me. But like I think it's hard. I think one of my biggest problems is knowing what to like call these videos, because I feel like people kind of they either really like them or they don't like them, and like, I mean, I do them because I enjoy talking to you guys, and it's just nice to feel like I'm not completely alone when I'm working. But yeah, sometimes I feel like I don't really get an awful lot done, and I think it's because obviously colour pencil takes so long. Like, so when I did a time lapse, the other day of the noseband, that was like 3 hours of content into like 8 minutes. Whereas obviously this takes a very, very long time, and I don't ever feel like I really get anywhere. Obviously when I'm getting somewhere, but it just feels very slow in comparison. So, and I struggle with knowing what to call this kind of content, like what to title it without getting like accused of like clickbait or whatever, because I could be like, oh, learn how to lay a colour pencil, and yeah, I'm not really talking about that. But it's yeah, it's a little bit interesting because I don't want to like annoy anyone. I think that's like one thing I'm super conscious of is like, yeah, I don't want to like annoy anyone. I think you've got to be super careful with sometimes when you like produce content online. Obviously you're not ever going to please everyone, and that's something that I'm really aware of, is that I literally can't please everyone, and that's okay. I'm learning that is normal, that not everyone's going to like you for their own reasons, and it might not be anything to do with you, it just might be a problem that they're having. But sometimes it isn't all too easy, because obviously when you're putting yourself out there it can be quite difficult, because especially when it's like to do with artwork, because obviously you spend a lot of time, like you give so much of yourself when you're producing art or being creative, because it's something that was never there before that you're putting out in the world, and it kind of puts you in a bit more of a, like, I would say it's more like a vulnerable position, because you kind of feel like you've given a lot of yourself to something, and if someone comes along and they're like, oh, I don't like that, and it's like, okay, well, why? Like, is there anything I can do to make you change your mind? And I don't, like, if you're anything like me, I kind of take it quite personally, and yeah, it doesn't, it really stresses me out. So I know that I can't please everyone, but I mean, as I said, I produce content like this because I really enjoy putting it out there, and I know that I have so many of you who enjoy watching it as well, because, you know, whether it's you are sort of listening whilst you're working, or whether you're interested in sort of like the way I work, or you're just here because you enjoy watching something come together, like whatever you're here for, it's really cool, and I'm really grateful to have you here. So it's it is what it is, really. I tell you what though, and maybe this can be sort of like a video all about sort of chestnuts, because chestnut horses I wouldn't say are the easiest to draw, because there's so many colours that go into chestnuts. I mean, I'm kind of going quite subtly here. I'm not really using an awful lot of different colours. I'm kind of just blending the colours with really like layers as I go, and then sort of like blending them out when I feel like they need to get blended out. But I know that some people would put all kinds of colours into a drawing like this, but I don't know, I just haven't ever felt the urge to put any stuff, like I can't speak today, start putting any random colours in anywhere. I think there's, like with all art, there is secret colours that you probably wouldn't think went into a portrait, but for something like this, I don't know, I'm trying to keep it as clean, as simple as I possibly can. I feel like I am getting a little bit lost though, so when I say by lost, I'm sort of losing some of the marks that I created, so I'm just gonna pop them back in a little bit. I am being very light with my hand pressure at the moment, because obviously I do not like putting any kind of pressure back onto a piece that I've worked, because I get really worried that the pigment might come off underneath, so I'm being sort of super cautious not to do anything like that. So I got a bit bored the other day. I go through phases actually where I do this and then I stop doing it. So I would say up until probably just under a year ago, I used to get acrylic nails done. because I was like, oh, I really need, like, it was gonna sound really silly, but where I took so many photos of my drawings with my hand in it, I hated having like naked nails, especially as like I can never grow them. So I decided that I was gonna start getting acrylics done, and then my nails completely went to they just completely broke really, and they were so weak. So I about a year ago I stopped getting the acrylics done, and my friend suggested that I went and got some like at home like a gel set, and she's a hairdresser, so she could get sort of like me the professional grade like nail stuff. And anyway, I tried to teach myself how to do my own nails, and they would look great for like, well, they'd look okay, well, it wouldn't look great like compared to professional standard, but they looked okay for like a day to 2 days, and then they start peeling off, and I get stressed and I start picking them off, and then yeah, I had like loads of bad nail experience, and so this was probably about a year ago that I decided that I was gonna do my own nails, and then I went through a stage where I'd spend like 2-3 hours of an evening doing my nails, and like 3 days later they'd be completely off again. So I was like, right, I give up, I'm never doing my own nails ever again, because I don't have time for this, and I'm going to pay someone. And then obviously lockdown happened. I never went back to paying for them. Well, obviously lockdown happened, and I didn't have all this time, because obviously I've been quite productive with like setting up Patreon and doing all the other kinds of stuff. But I kind of sat there the other week and I was like, do you know what, I'm really going to make an effort, I'm going to try and grow my nails, and I'm going to put gel on them. And so yeah, I gave myself like a little manicure the other night, and I mean, obviously I need to put like cuticle oil on my hands, but I mean, I'm quite happy with them. They look relatively okay, they just need to grow a little bit. So, and they've been on for like 4 days, which I think is a record for me. I can't normally keep nails without them sort of like chipping or anything for like 2 days. I think it's because I'm quite heavy-handed, but yeah, so, but I think loads of people are starting to sort of like do their own nails and stuff like at the moment, because obviously none of the salons are open. But yeah, obviously when I started doing like more video content, I kept like looking back at the videos and being like, oh, my thumb looks horrendous, I need to do something with it. So yeah, and obviously here I am with some of my own nails. Anyway, that was a little side note, wasn't it? I really want to make a cake today. I don't know why, but I think it's because like Celebrity Great British Bake Off's been on. But yeah, I'm just really in the mood for baking. I don't really care what I do, as long as it's something like creative, as long as I'm making something I'm generally happy with. So but yeah, I think the problem is at the moment is that no one can get hold of any like eggs or anything, because eggs are still in really short demand in the supermarkets for some reason. So like the chickens can't lay the eggs fast enough. So, but maybe, I mean, it's my brother's birthday soon, so I feel like we're going to make him a cake. Like me and my mum are going to make him a cake, so, well, she'll make the cake, I guess I'll be the one to decorate it, but I don't know whether it's just me or whether you guys are feeling it too, but I feel like ever since I've been in lockdown, like my diet and all things healthy have just gone out the window. I can literally sit here and eat a packet of biscuits and have absolutely no shame. and I don't really know what's happened because I used to be pretty healthy, and then quarantine happened, lockdown happened, and I guess it's just like all the anxiousness. Now I'm just, yeah, I don't know, I mean I'm trying to run it off, but I need to like sort it out. I know I used to feeling like this, and I don't know where it's come from, and I hope it doesn't really stay around because I don't think it would be very good for my health. But yeah, I am struggling a little bit to not sort of anxiety eat, I guess. Is that even a thing? I don't know. It is now a thing. Yeah, anxiety eating. If anyone else is anxiety eating, do let me know because you'll make me feel less bad. I mean, I had like 2 Easter eggs. To be fair, I've still got 1 Easter egg out the 2 left, and it's been like 2 weeks since Easter. Is it a week or is it 2 weeks? I don't know. I can't know. It's a week and a half, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, I'm not doing too bad on the Easter egg front, but I guess that doesn't really count if you're eating a lot of biscuits and stuff elsewhere. I honestly can't wait for this lockdown to be over because I feel like I'm getting a little bit low on I just need to see my friends really. I don't think I'm the only one who's feeling like this either. I think we're all sort of in the same boat, but I mean, like me and my family are having like family Zoom calls every Sunday where my grandma can speak to sort of the family. She doesn't have any technology, so I sort of go over and social distance from her, but set her up so she can talk to like the family from afar, which obviously she really enjoys, but it's not the same, is it? Yeah, I'm really missing everyone. Obviously it's good in a way because it's actually made me crack on and sort out my Patreon and stuff, which is obviously something I've been meaning to do for like forever, but it is getting to the stage now where I am feeling a little bit despondent to the idea. And I think like the worrying thing is like no one ever knows, or no one really knows like how we're gonna come out of this, and I think that's like all of these sort of feelings and thoughts and stuff is what's like leading me to anxiety. But anyway, yeah, I mean it helps me massively having you guys because it's just like having people there, and obviously like having my patrons and stuff, and I'm going to film like a welcome video and sort of like a get to know me better video for my patrons, and I'm probably going to film that with my Instagram video tomorrow. Which yeah, I mean it's really nice because I feel like I can connect with you all a lot more on sort of like a little bit like a deeper level, so that's really nice, especially at the moment because I am feeling like a little bit lonely with I mean, I think I've spoken about before, like being an artist is exceptionally lonely anyway, without even like being in quarantine. So put us all in quarantine, and I think that is like a recipe for disaster. And I think like it's really bad for people's mental health as well. Like, because we are sociable beings, we need each other. So I think yeah, it's not really doing country any good really being in this state, but anyway, what can they do? There's nothing really anyone can do at the moment, is there? You just sort of like it, or not like it, but we just got to lump it, haven't we? But yeah, hopefully it won't go on for much longer. I know like we've definitely got like another at least 2 weeks as of I think it was today in full lockdown, so hopefully like people start going back to work soon. And I guess like the way they'll probably do it is, for what I can tell, I think they're probably gonna sort of like release everything off a little bit, like let people go back to work and start sort of moving around again, and then if like the death rate jumps up, then they'll lock everything down, and then that's probably how they're just going to play it. And because I think like the government are going to have to start allowing people to move around a bit more, because I think people are going to start, you know, it's not going to do any favours to anyone's mental health. And obviously like mental health is such a big thing nowadays, something that I'm sort of quite an advocate for talking about. So yeah, I mean, that's the point. If anyone is struggling, then, you know, do drop me a message, whether it's on Instagram, email, Facebook, whatever, you know. I'm always here if anyone needs sort of like a listening ear, if you're struggling, if you're on your own maybe. And yeah, I am 100% here for all of you. I mean, don't get me wrong, my replies, you know, aren't the quickest half the time, because I have so much going on, but I am always here for whoever needs me. I'm thinking about what I'm going to work on after I finished Hooli, and because obviously I have got like loads of other commissions, and I've got a really beautiful horse called Dino to work on soon, and I think that I'm meant to be starting that in the next week. So but in between, obviously I need to finish my owl, and I need to, what else do I need to do? I need to work on, I've drawn out, like, I think I've spoken to you guys about it, I've drawn out like the biggest stag. It's huge, and I'm really like excited yet apprehensive to get to work on that, because it is such a big piece. But yeah, that should be quite cool. I don't know when they're going to start that. I think, because I think I said like I've ordered this solid state hard drive, which will hopefully turn up tomorrow. So maybe when I finish Hooli, I will start filming and then backing it up onto the hard drive, and then I'll be able to share like more of the process with you and obviously everyone over on Patreon. I don't really think there's like a right or wrong way to do what I'm doing at the moment. I was just like building up the layers so slowly to get it to the stage where I can sort of know roughly where things are going. Because at the moment I kind of feel a little bit like things are a bit all over the place, and I'm sort of just very slowly building up the layers, and then eventually it will start coming together. But I feel like colour pencil always looks like a bit hit and miss when you are first starting out with like a new bit that you're working on, before the layers sort of come together. I'm really conscious of the pigment lifting off, like it's beginning to lift because I put some of my hand onto the leather. Some of the pigment that's beginning to lift off, but it's fine. I can go back in with a pencil and sort of like the same colour pencil and sort of put some of the pigment down, so it won't ever be obvious at the end. It's just annoying when you spend all that time working on an area for it to lift off a little bit, but that is unfortunately one of the things that happens with coloured pencil, especially on a paper like this. I still haven't got around to trying out pastel mat, and I still haven't got around to doing what I said I was going to do in the other video, in my last video, which was try watercolour. I feel like I'm probably going to save a little experiment video for Patreon, to be honest, because I think it'd be slightly embarrassing if it all goes wrong on here. But I don't know, maybe I've got all these videos like ideas, I just need to sit down and film them. I think like portraits like this is almost like a little bit of a test of patience, because it just takes so long. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's so worth it, but yeah, they do take quite a long time, but they are 100% worth it, because you know the so yeah, response isn't the right word. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but almost like the owner's reactions are just what I live for. To make sure that people are happy, and if I can provide something that's sort of like is either a reminder or, you know, a memoir, or just like something special. It's just because I feel like people either get art or they don't get art. Like, people either understand why I do what I do, or they don't. Because like, I've had people in the past, like quite obnoxious people, so like quite rude and arrogant people, who have kind of said, why do you do what you do? You know, you can take a photo. You know, why would people pay you to draw? You know, arguably spend quite a lot of money on something when they could just take a photo. But I mean, if for anyone who sort of has heard that in their art career, like, I wouldn't even take any notice of them, because you can produce something that no one else can with your own hands. And you know, a camera, anyone can sort of pick up a camera and take a photo, admittedly, whereas obviously like the portraits I produce are almost, I put details in that a camera would never pick up. I try and like add things that only, you know, especially if I've met the horse, like I know a bit more of the character, and I think, you know, it's just like the subtleties that a camera won't pick up. And you know, as I said, anyone can take a camera, I think it's all, take a camera, anyone can take a photo. Obviously some people are better than others, but not everyone can produce art or even wants to produce art. And I think, you know, art has been a thing for forever, hasn't it? Even back in like from the caveman, when they used to do like portraits and stuff on the cave walls, like art has always been a thing. So people I think appreciate it and respect the fact that something has been crafted by hand. It's like, I guess in a way, and I don't know whether this is true, because I'm just gonna make up a sort of like this analogy here, but if you were to buy a bog standard car that everyone will see on the road, so if you like compare, if you say like taking a photo would be like driving a Ford Fiesta here in the UK, they're sort of like, obviously they're well made, but they're like to a penny, like loads and loads and loads of people have got them. Whereas like, or you can have almost like a Rolls Royce, which is handmade, hand stitched, hand put together. Everything is done with such precision, and everything is formulated for that special car, for that one car. Like no two are ever going to be the same. Like that is the difference, I think, between art and taking a photo, because you are producing something that, I mean, if I tried to redo Hooley's portrait again, it wouldn't be exactly the same. This is a one-time thing. It would look similar, it would look probably very similar, but it wouldn't be exactly the same. It's almost like you're capturing something in time, and I know obviously you're kind of doing that with a photo, but it's just not the same. It's really not the same. So yeah, if anyone has ever had anyone say that to them, then you can go and tell them to shove it, because it's irrelevant and those people aren't worth your time. And that was my rant of the day. And I think, yeah, there's almost like a bit of like kudos there for, yeah, I think people, I mean, if I had a horse, I would love to have someone draw them for me, because it's just so much more personal. You know, someone has taken the time, taken the hours and the skill to produce your animal, and I think that is remarkable, and that's why I love what I do so much, I think. That was a really, really random story, wasn't it? Well, not random, but it's a bit like an off-topic thing, but by the way, I'll tell you, it wasn't having a dig at a Ford Fiesta. I used to drive a Ford Fiesta. In fact, I had 2 Ford Fiestas, and they were great cars. But, I mean, if you had the choice of a Rolls Royce or a Ford Fiesta, what would you have? I think everyone would probably go for a Rolls, if money wasn't an option. I am a bit of a petrol head though. I absolutely love cars, so I think this is like a problem. I say I love cars, I mean, I'm not like massively obsessed with cars, but they are definitely, obviously I went into the motor show when I left school, so they've always been sort of like quite an important part of my adult life. Anyway, I think this is probably around about my hour where I talk at you, not talk with you, because I can't say I talk with you, because I definitely don't. I definitely talk at you. I think one thing I really like about doing these is that it really keeps me on track, really makes sure that I spend an hour solidly working instead of 5 minutes and then looking at my phone for another 5 minutes and, you know, procrastinating and, you know, the general stuff that I tend to do. Whereas this kind of forces me to sit here and do work. So I think that is a good thing. So even if no one else is watching this or benefiting from it, at least it's a sure way of me keeping on track and getting some work done. But yeah, I'm hoping that I'm gonna finish Hooley's neck today, to be honest. I will finish this neck, and then I've just got like to do the the underside of his noseband and the bit, and then I think it's probably I'll sort of tidy it up a bit and sort of rework a couple of areas that need to be addressed, and then I I think that will be his portrait kind of probably pretty much done. Yeah, I'm going to be super sad, actually genuinely super sad when I don't have his face to look at anymore, but yeah, I can't live with it forever. It's it needs to go to its new home, which isn't actually that far away. It's quite a local commission. Not many of my commissions are that local, but this one's only about half an hour up the road, so yeah. Anyway, I hope you have a brilliant rest of your day, whatever you're doing, and if you're looking for podcast recommendations, then High Low and Red Handed are two brilliant ones. If you would like to give me some Netflix recommendations on what to watch whilst I'm working, then please do. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. It really helps my channel out, and if you don't, then you don't have to watch it, and I'm sorry. If you'd like to come over and join me over on Patreon and get some in-depth like almost tutorial videos of how I work and why I work, and so I go through step by step the process, then feel free to come on over to Patreon. Again, I'll put the link below. And I think that is like everything crossed off the list of what I meant to say at the end of the video. So I will just say I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, keep safe, and I will see you in the next one. Lots of love, bye.